Hey, good morning. I invented that word just now, and it sounds really stupid. I did it just for you, so you now owe me. No. Anyway, as stupid as that was, everything's gonna be just as bad. So, whoever you were, whatever you want to be, let's figure this out together. Try to be somebody better by tomorrow. Let's get into this.
They say the devil's in the details. Well, for some reason, NASA, along with the high religious priests of scientism, are obsessed with the number 666. So let's start with the so-called facts we're taught in school. We're told the Earth is orbiting around the Sun and moving at 66,600 miles per hour. That is the Earth's orbital speed around the Sun. Alright, well, like always, it's just a coincidence. Now, Earth's axial tilt is 23.4, but when you subtract it from 90-degree angle, a right angle, you get 66.6. Again, next up is curvature per mile drop. Now, according to the Pythagorean theorem, each mile is an 8-inch drop. 8 inches converted to feet is 0.66667 feet. If you take a look at the Antarctic and Arctic circles, it is 66.6 degrees north and 66.6 degrees south. Let's direct your attention to go over the diameter of the moon. It is 2,160 miles, supposedly. But if you do 6 times 6 times 60, it equals 2,160. And if you thought we were done, don't worry, there's plenty more. Speed of sound in knots equals 666 knots. Earth's circumference in nautical miles, 21,600 miles. Again, you get 600 times 6 times 6. How far is Mars from the Sun? 1.666 astronomical units. From Mercury, the Sun appears to be 6.66 times brighter. And you can't forget that time the astronaut, or Peggy Whitson, spent 666 days in space.
By the time she lands in September, her tally will be 666 days in space. 666 days.
Of course, they soon realized that was a bit too reckless and obvious on their part, and changed it officially the next day. Now, the gravity theory was fabricated by Isaac Newton in the year 1666. And what's the story you believe? An apple fell on his head? Yeah, I'm sure there's nothing occult about that. This isn't just a few examples. We're talking hundreds of units of measurements with 666 in them. Like, what are the odds? Or should I say, how gullible does one have to be to actually buy that? In case you haven't realized, our entire reality is infiltrated with satanic numerology and symbolism. The Washington Monument is 66,660 inches tall, with the parameter being 666 inches. You can't make this shit up. And then you go into all these brands and company logos, right? That have the 666 in everything they do. Taco Bell has 666 in their logo. I think we all know enough about Disney. And then we have these fake Monster Energy drinks, right? The Claw, the 666 in Hebrew numericals. And then it's the same thing with Volkswagen logo and so on. It's pretty interesting, right? It's almost like a lot of these major corporations won't buy or sell unless they have the mark of the beast, the 666, on their logo. Now, where's that from again? Revelation 13:16. He required everyone, great and small, rich and poor, slave and free, to be given a mark on the right hand or on the forehead. And no one could buy or sell anything without the mark, which was either the name of the beast or the number representing his name. His number is 666. It is all connected, folks. You're living in a satanic system. The nihilism, the heliocentric model, the NASA deception, the evolution theory, this entire age of degeneracy. None of it is random. It is strategic mind control. From birth, you're groomed to worship science as your god, to believe that you're a random accident on a spinning water ball with no divine inherent purpose, and that you're the descendant of monkeys, and then you end up trusting the very agencies that mock you. You've been lied to about who and where you are. We are the center of God's divine creation, and they spend billions of dollars each and every year to hide that from you. You were placed here to do more than just consume, chase pleasure, and work a slave job for 40 plus years to then quietly die in debt. You can believe this is all just coincidence and continue walking in your slumber like the rest of the world. Or you can wake up and start asking why everything from NASA to Nickelodeon is soaked in satanic numerology. Your call.
When you start to look into it, it's almost like it's a trap. It's there to pull you in. What I've come to believe, at very least, is it's not so much a Rorschach test in the sense that can you notice it? What do you notice? You know, what are you looking at? What do you see? I think it's more of, do you want to focus on this or do you want to focus on your family? I mean, what's important to you? Do you really care about all that stuff, or do you want to just be a good person, look out for your family, raise your kids right, which are all amazing and important things that you really should do. because it is a rabbit hole. When you start digging into this stuff, you see that it is all there, and it's very plain, very clear. But you have to know the first little secret, which is the first key to the first door, then the next one, then the next one. And then by the end of it, it becomes this big, large expansion of layers that, and don't get me wrong, it all does lead up to one thing makes sense on the next thing, which ends up making sense on the next thing. And then all of these conspiracy theories that you thought were just theories seems to kind of mold into just a story that, like, oh wow, from beginning to end, it's all there. That is terrifying because that means not only is this world a lot bigger, more expansive, full of a lot of different things, but it's full of a lot of bad people too. And they're not wishing for the best for you. So, I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you're losing the fight, it's because you don't know you're in one. So once you start to realize that you are, however you take up that fight and decide to do it, you should decide to do it. Whether that's just you being a good person and living your life right, or just trying to help everybody out there. Whatever you can do, you should do something.
This man has spent the last 2 years building an entire town for his pets, and it will blow your mind. It all started with an apartment for his Shiba Inu and cats, but when people saw the excruciating level of detail that Jing put into it, it went viral. It is so realistic that it makes it look like the cat is the thing that's fake. Bro, he even created an underground den for his hamster, and then inside that, another even smaller room for his spider. What the hell? And so naturally, people wanted more. So, Jing started building more, like an elevator, a mini robo-vacuum, a gaming room complete with a sneaker collection, figurines, and model cars. And yes, this apartment even has running water. He then spent the next 2 months building an underground parking garage for his pets and even added cameras and put Shiba-san as the head of security. But you know what his pets really needed after that? A seaside retreat to get away from the city. So bro built them an entire private island. Not that kind of island. It took him over a month to build, and it comes with real flowing water, a painted horizon, and is themed on how to train your dragon. And thinking a private island was probably a good place to stop, he then finds out that Ting Hao was pregnant with 7 kittens. And so he suddenly realized this apartment wasn't big enough for a growing family. So naturally, he started building an entire town. Over the months, he built his pets a spa, a supermarket, yes, with real meat, a bank, a cinema, which took him another 2 months to build because he had to 3D print over 1,000 separate parts. He built them a billiards club, a Meow Donald's, and even copped his hamster a cyber quad and his cats a Cybertruck. But by far, the biggest addition to Cat Town was the working subway station. This took Jing over 4 months to build, and some of the most challenging parts was figuring out how to open the train doors and platform doors simultaneously, and also how to create a working escalator. But of course, he achieved both of them beautifully, and today, Cat Town has affordable transportation. Now, the biggest question he gets asked all the time is why? Why spend all this time and money on your pets like this? Well, he said that it started just as a fun little idea to attract more customers to his wife's pet store, which she recently opened. But then it just spiraled out of control because he loves what he does and it makes his son happy.
So this man built an entire town, subway system, elevator. He did everything for his animals. And I bet you down the street there's some starving children that have nothing, that have dirty underwear and torn, ripped up socks. But his cat looks good. His cat is doing everything, and it's getting 1 million views and getting him paid for it. I'm not saying that it's bad to love your animals. I'm not saying you should never take care of them. Of course, take care of them. But when people would rather be with the bear or take the dog home instead of feeding the person, when it comes down to it, if not for the grown man that can probably do something for himself, you can't tell me that he wouldn't rather take care of a child than do that. It seems gross and disgusting to me, but I'm in the same boat. That cat's living a lot better than I am, so I bet most of you too, but maybe some of you guys are living large and I'll be your pet.
Is it possible that everything in the media today is controlled or influenced by demons? Now, before I begin my stretch, let me just tell you where the term media comes from. You see, a medium is the person that conveys the message between the spirits and you. The medium is the in-between. It joins the two together. And that is where the media gets its name. See, the media is the conveyor of the message between you and the spirits. Everything in the media is tailored to convey a message, to subliminally control you, to subvert your mind and put underlining thoughts and tones into you that you're not paying attention to when you watch these things. Now, I'm sure many of you will be like, Brian, that's such a stretch. There's no way everyone in the media and the news and the entertainment world is a part of this occult belief. Well, they don't have to be. If you're in it, you're a part of it, whether you believe in it or not. For instance, you think the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is Will Smith. But allow me to give you a fresher perspective of someone who might be a better candidate for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. This is out of the Book of Jubilees, a book you probably aren't familiar with reading, but let me give you a little bit of perspective of it. Let thy mercy, O Lord, be lifted upon thy people, and create in them an upright spirit, and let not the spirit of Bel-Air rule over them. The spirit of Bel-Air rule over them? See, the spirit of Bel-Air, right there, that's Satan. Some of you might say, oh, that's not the same name, Brian. It's spelled differently. Bel-El, Belial, Belhor, Bel-Air. Demons go by many names because spelling in words is not how you write a demon's name. Their names are written with symbols. So there isn't much credence to how you spell or pronunciate a demon's name. Belair is a Hebrew word. In other languages, you might call it Belair or Beliar. But Belair is a Hebrew word meaning wickedness or worthlessness. It also means devil or Satan. The word is also used in 2 Corinthians, but do you really think that they named that place that by chance? And see, now you understand why Hollywood, which is the wood that witches and wizards craft their wands and staffs out of, sits right next to Bel-Air. Which makes you think, who is the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Would that make Will Smith the new inhabitants of Satan? Now you may say, Brian, there's no way all these rich and wealthy celebrities and famous people and entrepreneur type people are involved in witchcraft and the occult, and that's how they got successful. And to you, I would say, you don't understand witchcraft and you don't understand demons. Real high-level witches aren't people that paint their fingernails black and wear pentagrams on their shirt. The witches are the celebrities, famous, powerful people. They're your politicians and all those rising music and movie stars that you see all the time. Those are the people practicing real witchcraft. They typically hide their demonic worship and symbolism. They're not the people that are going to go brag about their authority to influence people to give them money and positions of power. Why would they go say, hey, look, I acquired this position of power by witchcraft? Do you think they're going to go around bragging about that or telling you? The people that paint their fingernails black, they're not the people on the high level, okay? The people on the high level are the ones in the background. They're not telling you what they're doing because they don't want you to know, because if you found out what they're really doing, they're sacrificing, they're drinking, they're doing rituals that are terrible and horrible. They don't want people to know that that's what they're doing, but that's how they're getting their power and influence.
My mom ain't here. My mama was sacrificed.
Me too.
You understand?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Michael Jordan, what about him? His dad, right? Bill Cosby, his son, right? Dr. Dre, his son. You're out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing.
Nearly every famous television show, actor, movie, famous person pays homage to fallen angel, Nephilim, demons, or practices witchcraft. And if they don't do it knowingly, then they're doing it unknowingly. They're getting inspired by it, whether they recognize it or not. They're being influenced by demons. In fact, there's a method for a lot of people that write these movies and these TV shows. It's called automatic writing, where you let something demonic take over your hand and it writes for you. This is how a lot of these stories, movies, and television shows are created, through automatic writing. Demons coming up with the stories and writing them through people that are channeling. So yeah, maybe some of the people don't even realize what they're writing. There's a lot of people that have no clue what they're producing. because they're producing it through the influence of a demon. They don't know the demon's plan. They're just the puppet. So a lot of these people that write the media content that's out there, I don't even think even a tenth of them understand what they're doing or what they're writing or how they're being influenced. But they're being influenced by demons. You need to be very cautious of what you let your eyes see. This is why the Bible says the eyes are the lamp to the soul, okay? It corrupts you just by observing the ritual of disobedience, the ritual of fornication. When you observe these things, that's when the demons have access to you. That's how curses work. That's how spells work. That's why people say things like, I became when I saw someone else being that way. You know, you have to observe it. Once you observe the spell or the ritual, then the demon has access to you. So if you don't think the words I'm sharing with you are true, you think I'm reaching, go read your Bible. The Bible says that if you abide in the Word of God, then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. If you read the truth of the Bible, it will set you free from the spell that you are.
I guess it makes perfect sense now why there's a whole rich town called Bel Air, and that it's very exclusive, and you and me, we're not welcome there. Well, anyway, if you think these rich people, famous ones, signing these contracts, making their money, doing their thing, care about you, then you're mistaken. PR is just that for a reason. You don't see them doing it just because, or, you know, there's always a camera. There's always somebody showing how great and nice they are, just so, you know, you don't see the wizard that's behind the curtains pulling it. But I mean, it's up to you. Like whoever you like, do whatever you want. Free will is there for a reason. If temptation wasn't there, then, I mean, you'd just be a good person and there'd be no challenge in it. So, get your struggle on.
That they think will bring great value to the world, they do something called file a patent, which is a system that offers inventors a temporary monopoly on their invention in exchange for sharing it with the world. In theory, a very mutually beneficial agreement. Society gains an invention that advances us, and the inventor makes a lot of money and gains recognition. The idea of patents was created in 1474 in Venice to encourage innovation when they enacted the Venetian Patent Statute. But in 1951, the US passed the Invention Secrecy Act, allowing them to keep certain technologies and inventions a secret legally. If they determine an invention to be detrimental to society, they can classify it, and their inventors are bound by law to not talk about it. Now, if a big company can't lobby a reason to invoke this act on a patent that happens to be detrimental to their wallet, they can simply offer the inventor a lot of money to outright buy the rights to their technology patent and just never put it to use. This practice is known as black shelving, buying patents for the purpose of never putting them to use. And if inventors refuse that, there are other ways to make sure their technology never gets out there, as there are countless cases of this happening, especially when it comes to anything involving cheap, accessible energy. Like the time this guy, Stanley Meyer, invented a car that can run purely on water. And it was all over the news, using a process known as electrolysis, which used electricity to split water molecules, H2O, into oxygen and hydrogen gas, using the hydrogen gas to power the engine, which we know is real. We have hydrogen cars today, although they don't run on water, but rather hydrogen gas pumped directly into the engine, which is expensive and not very accessible. Meyer called his invention a water fuel cell injector, and it was so impressive that scientists and engineers around the country inspected it and confirmed his technology works. In 1998, Stanley was signing a multi-million-dollar deal with investors at a restaurant when all of a sudden he fell incredibly sick, ran into the street, and started throwing up. He died shortly after, with his final words being, "They poisoned me," but his death certificate hid that, and they made up a story about a brain aneurysm. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to notice that this is a very inconvenient pattern among inventors of this type of technology, because Stanley was quite the inventor, one of which included an electromagnetic toroid-shaped device that was hit with a national security order, a torus that emits a toroidal energy field, essentially an energy donut, or a rodent coil, another controversial topic of many online free energy theories, a device that harnesses the unique properties of toroidal fields to create energy through a system called vortex-based mathematics, a 9-digit pattern that's also the foundation of that whole 369 thing that Nikola Tesla claimed to hold the key to understanding the universe, that appears to create energy in a closed system with near 100% efficiency, breaking the first two laws of thermodynamics, the thought of which makes physicists cry who insist it's physically impossible. But this concept was replicated in tests like mathematicians Marco Rodin's Rodin coil and Victor Schoberger's vortex machine. Even NASA briefly experimented with an engine called the M-Drive, which used similar principles to produce energy and was quickly deemed pseudoscience and shut down. Now, Stanley Meyer's device didn't run on gas, electricity, or even water. It ran on nothing. Exactly where we find those quantum vacuum fluctuations, zero-point energy. Drawing energy from this zero-point field, Nikola Tesla and other scientists of our past called this field the ether, a layer beyond our dimension that we can't exactly see but can still interact with. Exactly what quantum mechanics is slowly beginning to prove. Ether was even officially listed as a fifth element in our education systems for centuries, and is also how the rumored Tartarian Empire, the Egyptians, Atlantis, and other advanced ancient cultures of our past are said to have drawn energy from the sky by extracting it from the ether that exists all around us, the zero-point energy field. But by the 1920s, scientists were forced to reject the notion of ether, conforming to the regular four elements as we know today. As we know, Tesla himself even tried experimenting with and bringing this technology into the modern world, but was also silenced from doing so. Let's hope I'm not next on their hit list.
There are plenty of inventors out there that have made great leaps, bounds, especially when it comes to fuel. I mean, lately everybody's been talking about the plastiline kid, and he's doing great too. Hopefully he stays that way. A lot of these people, though, they don't make it. The best advice I've ever heard is just to release it. The money will come. I mean, you're the one who invented it. You know what you're doing. But unless you let everybody know about it and it's out there, it's going to be hushed, taken, stolen, all your stuff burned down, and you. So, I mean, I wish this world was a lot better and friendlier towards people, but we know how it goes.
Why do you look like a man right now? Well, guys, I am undercover as a delivery driver because...
People have been sending me this video all day.
I really thought y'all was bullshitting when y'all kept sending me this shit. I really thought you was bullshitting. But this just takes it to a whole nother level.
That's funny. Why do you look like a man right now?
Who would have still hit it?
What if I told you the reason you feel temptations for certain things and certain sins is very specific to what you're supposed to do? So if you have the urge to smoke or damage your lungs, it's because your voice was made to worship. Your voice was made to worship. The enemy's trying to silence you that was meant to praise. Now check this out. Ready? If you have crippling self-doubt or insecurity, it's because you're meant to lead and inspire. If you weren't dangerous to darkness, it wouldn't try to mute your confidence. If you have constant distraction and procrastination, it's because you carry strategy, vision, and ideas from heaven. True. The enemy delays you because he can't stop you. Only you can.
Holy smoke. This is so true.
This one's going to hit a lot of people. Okay. If you have an addiction to lust or pornography, it's because you carry a deep capacity for intimacy, covenant, and healing. Perverting love is how Satan prevents true restoration.
Yeah, if you're always lustful, it actually clogs your mind. Ruins a lot, too.
If you have fear of rejection or abandonment, it's because you carry a spirit of belonging and reconciliation. You were made to gather the outcasts, so he tries to make you feel like one.
Damn. That's crazy. You know, like those horoscopes where it's like, yo, it's sounding a little too real. You know?
Yeah, but it makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Because sometimes what if the things that were holding us back is because for the very reason and our purpose to actually overcome, right? Like we're chosen battles to fight and become the person that would conquer over. You have an obsession with appearance or body image. It's because you're meant to reflect God's glory, not the world's standards. So he can't get you to hate. So he's going to try to get you to hate your image.
Damn. Bars though.
All right. If you're drawn to witchcraft, astrology, or manifestation.
Okay, manifestation.
It's because you have a prophetic gift meant for God's kingdom. The enemy counterfeits your gift to keep you out of a life.
Yeah, I believe that. The enemy comes after you for what you're good at, what you're supposed to be good for. I mean, granted, a lot of people don't see it. I mean, you can be great with your hands, but you enjoy using your mind, so you do other things. Some people have gigantic dreams, and the earth is where you're supposed to be dwelling. That's fine. I mean, do what you want to do. That's what free will is about. But I pray that everyone out there finds what they love and does it for the rest of their life. That's the dream, right?
What on earth is this right here, man? Like, who is that? Let's do a few celebrity comparisons today, right? Check out old Kathy, man. Look at the difference, man. Look at Rosie. I know y'all love Rosie, man. Then y'all's favorite is Miss Ellen D. Look at her now, man. Like, even her ears, she just looks different. I don't know. What do y'all think it is? Then we got the Zac Efron situation, man. See, a lot of people say that that's not even the same person. Him and him, that's not the same people, but I'm not saying that at all. Sure makes you wonder, though, doesn't it? I can't believe Lindsay Lohan, dude. Like, I think we're like the same age. Jeez, man. What did you do? I need to jump on that. Look at all that gray, man. Then you have others that go through such drastic changes that, you know, you just kind of know what happened, really. But it's all good, though. Speaking of drastic changes, man, what about Jeff Bezos and his wife? Have y'all heard about, like, what they've got going on now? I mean, that'll be part 2. But anyways, hold on one second. Had to show y'all this picture right here. LeBron checking out his style and his new little style, his little pose, you know what I'm saying? But
I don't know if any of you have heard about the med beds before. I mean, some of these people, who is it? The Fit Flat Earther. He shows videos of people that it almost looks like they got into something, somehow, DO2, whatever it was, and came back 30 years younger, almost like another person. Like, it recharged them inside and out, and brought them back. Same freckles, same dimples, probably the same stupid, idiotic mind that they had to begin with. But, I mean, changed, young, beautiful. I wonder why.
A man in a red jacket was seen staring intently at a girl asleep by the window. As the train pulled into Morrison Avenue's Soundview station, he leaned over and nudged her companion, but got no response. Then, without warning, he grabbed the girl.
No! What the fuck, man? Fuck! Fuck! What are you doing, fuck? Fuck! Fuck! What the fuck, Bob? Bob, get the fuck up! Get up! This nigga is trying to grab me! This nigga is grabbing me at the train! Yo, the nigga just had to scream at him, look! I'm fucking through.
She fought back, screamed, and managed to break free, leaping back onto the train just as the doors closed. Strangely, the man didn't run. He simply sat there on the platform, watching as the train pulled away. He was later identified as Sonny Alloway, recognized by locals, and arrested. Police confirmed he had a prior criminal record. Thankfully, the girl was unharmed.
Yeah, that's crazy. If you're a guy and you're outside, your job is to protect her. You gotta be there. You have to, anything that moves around you, you have to look at it. You gotta keep an eye for it. It sucks, it's horrible. Yeah, I wish we were in a beautiful land with rainbows and sunshine and nothing ever happened. But if you don't pay attention, I mean, that's when they're gonna do it. That's why they'll do it, because you're not paying attention.
People will still deny it.
Yeah, they said, did I sell my soul? Murder was the case. I want my shit to be about cutting a deal with the devil, then getting sentenced to the pen. Then it happens.
Man, if you go straight to the pen after you make a deal, you messed up.
Also parts in the album where you speak to Lucy.
Yeah.
Lucifer.
Yep.
The devil. So you.
Yeah, man.
Did you sell your soul yet?
She looks like she sold it to crack, heroin, meth, any kind of drug too.
If I could go back, I never would have rapped. I sold my soul to the devil, I'll never get it back.
I'm in trouble, did a deal with the devil now, pleaded with him, like, give me my soul.
I have my first record ever and selling my soul to Hollywood Records.
I sold my soul a good price, out of sight.
Biggest rumor though now that I sold my soul to Satan.
Selling soul, man. Look, Juice selling his soul. They ain't take too long. Illuminati, man.
Did I sell my soul? I sold my soul for you.
Yeah, I hope that works when you get up there, because that's bullshit.
Sold my soul. Why is your hand over your eyes? Because I'm a devil worshiper. What are you talking about? All right, well, I have tickets to see the devil worshiper. If you don't get this right now, I swear to Lucifer, I'm gonna. I'm very honored to be able to receive this amazing award from the devil.
Yeah, he meant that.
From the depths of my soul.
They made that stuff cool. They made everybody want to do it, and that's why everybody performs the same stupid stuff. You go to their concerts, you see all kinds of idiotic things, and then we post it, we give them free commercials, and we show all this stuff, and we talk about it. Honestly, if you don't want them to do it, don't support them. Don't give them your money. And Urfa, yeah, he meant that. That was not forgotten.
Let's talk about it. Cloud seeding is real, but it doesn't create storms. It just helps existing clouds create a little bit more rain. We're talking about a 10 to 20% boost at best. And it doesn't dump 20 inches of rain on an area or flood an entire town. Rainmaker flew one cloud seeding mission on July 2nd, and that was over 100 miles away from where the flooding happened. Now, they stopped as soon as conditions got a little moist, as per government regulations, and they didn't even fly a mission on the day that the floods hit. So blaming cloud seeding for a natural disaster, it's not just wrong, it's reckless. These were tropical downpours, stalled storms, and terrain that unfortunately floods easily. It's a classic but extreme flash flood setup.
I'm not saying they did. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying when they happened to drop it, it flooded everywhere, destroyed everything, and a whole bunch of people died. Just so happened. I'm not saying they did it, but right after they did it, that's what happened.
I've reached, I'm usually pretty curious. I've stopped being curious about this because I don't want to know anymore.
You truly don't want to know anymore about it?
I think I know. I think I know what's up. So I can't prove it, so probably not going to articulate it, but I think I know what's up, yeah.
Can you articulate it?
Well, I think it's a really old story. I think it's a really old story, so.
What is it?
Well, one, I'm a Christian, and I'm fairly sincere about it. I try to be sincere about it.
What was it that led you to believe
Talking to a lot of people. I was really shocked by what credible people told me. I became completely satisfied, I'll say that they were not lying, and that they were right or in the vicinity of right. And then I was like, whoa, I'm out. Because I don't need to go farther than that. I mean, I think that the real struggles are unseen. That is absolutely a part of Christian theology. I didn't fully appreciate it at all. The belief that the real struggles are in the spiritual realm. That has been a constant belief since the beginning of history, recorded history. Everybody has thought that, except us in the West, since 1945. So once you get perspective on this question, you're like, okay, that may sound crazy to someone who thinks buying shit on Amazon is the meaning of life, but to every other person in the world, we may disagree about what the truth is. I'm sure we will, but we will never disagree with the fact that there's a lot of shit going on that we cannot see or measure with our senses. That is absolutely true. What I find so striking about the UFOs, this is the main takeaway I have, is like, there's this debate, is this stuff, these phenomena, which are clearly, obviously real, I mean, there's no debate about that. There's a lot of that people can't explain in the sky and underwater. We know that. Fact. So the debate is this government technology? Is it from outer space, or is it some spiritual realm here? I've already told you my view of it. But what I find so interesting, we know the government's lied about it. They're lying about it now. That's a fact. There's no way around that. They've absolutely lied about it in very elaborate ways. I am really struck. Here's my current thinking on it. The main effort that the US government has put into its disinformation, its lying on this topic, has been not to mislead you on the technology. They're not telling me they don't have anti-gravity technology. It sounds from watching your podcast that they do. Their main interest is in convincing you that the supernatural is not real. And if you watch, and there are people in the media who specialize in spreading these lies on behalf of the government. I'm not going to name anybody, but like some of them work. Once you realize what the point of the exercise is, it's crazy. And I hope you'll assess all the fact-checking and the skepticism on UAPs through this lens. The main thing they want you to believe is the supernatural is not real. Well, then you have to ask yourself, like, why?
That's interesting.
It is so interesting. Why is that important to you? Why do you care if I think the supernatural is real? Like, why is that? First of all, why is it? How dare you, as my government, try to get involved in my spiritual beliefs? That's totally not your area. So out of there, okay? A. But B, why has that been so important for 80 years for you to convince me the supernatural is not real? Why? Why is that? And of course I can't answer the question, but my gut level response is, well, because if it is real. Whatever they're telling you is not real, and if they're punishing you for saying something you know for a fact it's not real, you're not allowed to say that.
That's bars, y'all.
Listen to them.
Oh, not because they don't have no problem with me lying, because they lie for a living. So lying brings no sanction. You can lie all you want. What you can't do is tell the truth. That is a fact. So once you know that, you can sort of reverse engineer their lies and know with some certainty that whatever they're telling you is not true is in fact true. That's exactly the truth. It's exactly the truth. But then you have to ask motive. Like, it's not a profit motive. Like, does it make them rich to deny that there's supernatural forces? No. What is that? And I don't know the answer. But the obvious answer is, well, because they sort of know they're working for supernatural forces, actually. And I think that's probably true.
Is there a specific reason or a handful of reasons, or is this a hunch that you believe that they're working with the supernatural realm or have a relationship?
Well, I can't prove that. I mean, I'm suggesting that. I'm not saying it because I can't prove it, but I'm suggesting it. And if you're asking whether I believe it, the answer is yes. But I believe that for two reasons. One, because I've told that directly by a couple of people who I think seem knowledgeable, and I attach some weight to that.
I'm sure it's hard for a lot of people because it's literally around you every day, all the time. Most people just say it's a coincidence or it's not really that. Oh, that's weird. That's strange. But if you took a second and thought about it and put the reasoning behind it, you would know exactly what it is. But it's up to you to decide that. So, I mean, you know the old saying, just because you don't believe in him doesn't mean he don't believe in you. So, if it's a fight and you're losing, it's because you didn't know you were fighting.
So outer space does exist. So all flat earthers out there saying that outer space doesn't exist, it does, but it's just been usurped. It's not physically going to Mars itself, the sun, Mars, the luminary. That's ridiculous. It's going to these lands where Mars is the sun. That's what they're trying to tell us. Each of these toroidal fields also has its own sun and moon. Saturn and Jupiter revolving around the outer torus field, Mars and Venus on the next toroidal field, Apollo and Artemis, or our sun and moon, on our torus field, but in the center there is only one androgynous sun and moon, which is Mercury on the inside, okay? On this torus field, the aurora borealis. The next question, or the next natural question, would be, well, what's above these toroidal fields? Above all the toroidal fields, we've got something known as the firmament, okay? This is where the stars are. This is what we see when you look up at the sky in the evening. All the stars and the constellations, this is the firmament. That sits above the last inner toroidal field, the one that Saturn and Jupiter revolves around, okay? So that would be the cosmic egg on top. In fact, I'll put it together. So that's what it looks like, right? So the firmament inside this torus egg, okay? The sky that runs across, okay? So it's almost like a dome, okay? So we're sealed off from these realms above, and I'll explain all that in a second, right? So when we're looking at it from underneath, when we're sat on the earth, we're seeing all the constellations revolving above us, okay? So pretty straightforward, really. So that's the firmament, okay? So this firmament, on its axis, right, is revolving, okay? There's motion, everything's moving above us, but the terra firma we're standing on is obviously not moving, okay? So this axis is revolving, it's turning the firmament with all the stars and the constellations and everything else. In turn, it's also affecting the motions of these toroidal fields that are spinning around us, like we discussed earlier on. Those toroidal fields are also carrying the suns and moons around, which is causing our days and nights and seasons and times, okay? And that in turn, that motion is also creating our weather, our winds, our currents, flows, airstreams, everything else. So it's one big system working together. It's a network starting from the cosmic vortex. Okay, so what that would look like is something like this. Okay, now interestingly enough, okay, we talked about the planets. I suppose many people will be asking, what about Uranus and Neptune and Pluto? Okay, so I think Uranus and Neptune are the two realms above. Okay, so Uranus is the firmament above us. Why am I saying this? Well, Mother Gaia, we all know, is Earth in Greek mythology, okay? Gaia was married to Uranus, right? The planet Uranus, as they tell us, Uranus was named after Gaia's husband, Uranus. Uranus married to Uranus. These two are married, okay? They go hand in hand. Same thing with Kemetic Egyptian mythology, okay? You've got Mother Geb. She was married to the Egyptian god Nut. And Nut is always depicted as the sky, okay? So Uranus, Nut, Uranus, same thing, okay? They also tell us that Uranus and Neptune are kind of planets, but they're exoplanets. They don't go in the same category as these 7 wandering stars, okay? They put in a different category, and that's the reason why, okay? Pluto was, the planet Pluto was named after the Greek god of the underworld. And that's because Pluto is the firmament below us. As above, so below. There's a firmament above us, but there's also a firmament below us, okay? Below the great sea, the great deep, the Gabadoka Ocean, as the Vedics called it, okay? So that tells me syncretically that there is a firmament and what the firmament is, and that shows you how I've come to that conclusion, okay? Above that, you've got Neptune. Neptune was named after the Greek, the keeper of the waters. Okay, which waters? The waters above and the waters below. Okay, so Neptune is the keeper of the waters. This is the next realm. By the way, these realms above the firmament are very transcendental. We cannot go to these planets naturally, we all know that. Okay, these are luminaries, these are suns and moons. We can't go to the sun or the moons. Okay, outer space does exist, like I said. It's beyond these Van Allen belts and these lands beyond. This would be outer space, okay? Definitely, we cannot go up here. This place is very, very transcendental. It's spiritual. You can only go there as a soul or a spirit or a star. It's all the same thing, okay? This is the only time you can go up there, and I'll explain all that in a minute, okay? So mainstream science tells us that there is Uranus, Neptune, and I'll explain how the heavens work. So there are 4 heavens and there are 4 hells. In fact, the Vedics say there are 7 heavenly realms and 7 hellish realms. Again, we'll go through that in a second. So mainstream science tells us that there's the Milky Way galaxy, Andromeda galaxy, and the Omega galaxy, and then the point of singularity. Okay, this is where Polaris is. Polaris is right at the top, okay? Right in the center of the axis, the cosmic axis. Right, everything is spinning around Polaris, just like we witness with our eyes. When you look up at the North Star, Polaris, you see all the stars are revolving, yeah, around Polaris. Okay, Polaris is Brahma, the creator. This is Big Brother. So when you see that triangle with the eye that these elites show us, this is what they're trying to tell us, that Big Brother is watching. Okay, unfortunately, they're twisting it and usurping it and making it very occult. It shouldn't be an occult thing. This is something everyone should know. Okay, this is Big Brother. This is our father. This is Brahma looking out for us.
The problem with all of this is, I mean, first, I'm not smart enough to know for sure. And I've never been up there to actually tell you. So, and a lot of smart people have really good arguments. I mean, they have lists of all kinds of stuff that'll tell you the reasons why. I mean, most importantly, if you believe the Bible word for word, then you have to believe every word for word. What that says, as far as to you, I mean, I don't know. You have to find that for yourself. But at least it's interesting, right? I mean, your rent's still going to be due, but it's kind of fun. Think about it. All right, everybody, that's going to be it for today. There are some things I do want to go into in some later renditions. I've always wanted to start a charity, Helping Hands. It's something, you know, I lost someone really close to me, and I've always thought about it. So if I get a chance, an opportunity, that's something I'm going to start pushing and doing. I want to help some families, and save some kids, do something to help this world. I've done a lot to take from it. Now, you know, it's time to give back. So I appreciate it. Everybody enjoy your day. Have fun. Hopefully I didn't scare you with the whole eye thing. It kind of freaked me out. I'm going to go be scared in the corner and start shaking for a little while myself. But enjoy yourself. Have fun. Don't drink too many Red Bulls. It might freak you out.